We've got so much on the line. Gen.G going up against Oxygen. Can Oxygen keep the dream run going? Let's find out.
Thank you very much, Wavepunk. Thank you very much, Desk. I'm Cole here with Turtle, and Turtle, our friend T-Bates, he was very confident.
Ooh,
he's 0-4.
A little bit too confident.
He fully believes that 1, this will be a Gen.G victory, and 2, it'll be 3-1. Is he correct to be that confident?
I understand it. I mean, after what we saw previously with Gen.G up against Power, that was a convincing win, but Oxygen, of course, got a convincing win themselves earlier on in the first round of Swiss, and I think this will definitely go the distance. I would expect to see a Game 5. And for Gen.G, this is their first time up against a EU roster. And, you know, North America, we officially claim Gen.G. They're a North American roster at this point.
You need some help, so that's completely fair.
Okay.
I mean, just when the EU-NA debate seems to be over, they go over there and just completely reignite it. But Oxygen Esports, they needed to reignite earlier in their series against G2, and they've actually started this one well.
Yeah, and that first touch from Oli to break open and carry that ball into the space. Nice little follow-up too. Great start for Oxygen Esports, 22 seconds in, able to strike first. That's the type of confidence that you want to build early on, especially with the reputation Gen.G have coming into this tournament.
You talk about confidence, and at the end of Game 5 there, as Joreuz prods this one away, Archie stopped playing for about 20 seconds in his own
And he got that save, the pre-jump save.
He went AFK, then he got a pre-jump save. He was laughing as they won this one, and he might be laughing at this game the way it's going.
Here comes Joreuz. Archie, the fake. You see him hit the brakes slightly before taking that ball into the air. That not only gives time for Joreuz to get the setup and find better positioning, but also confuses the defense. So 2 very quick goals in just the first minute. Gen.G's defense dismantled.
Could be a third as well, look at this. Wow, Joreuz attacking it, couldn't quite get the touch, but so much attacking, so much pressure from Oxygen, and so far Oxygen is seeing everything Gen.G are trying. Apparently Jack tried a fake, there's another save coming in, Nolly does close it on Archie, another double save, a third save from Archie, and then knocked onto the crossbar from Oli. Oxygen Esports refusing to concede their goal linear charmed live.
I saw Oli coming in for that shot, and for a second I thought it was a player on Gen.G with the way he approached it. Smacked it off his own crossbar, but it worked, and then a floater from Joreuz. This is an immaculate start from Oxygen.
Ironically, when they beat G2 earlier, neither team was playing particularly well. But these first 3 goals that we've seen are just pure Oxygen. You know, this is the version of themselves that won the first EU regional, when the decision-making, the timing to go to bumps and demos was perfect. Of course, the mechanics were ideal. Right now, they are blitzing Gen.G Mobile, who just can't figure out what to do about it.
For me personally, I feel for Gen.G. I mean, they had follow-ups. They're getting demoed now, looking for those follow-ups. And they've always had somebody there. And you think back to that previous hold on defense for Oxygen. There was maybe 2-3 consecutive shots that they had to get in front of. And Oxygen found a man there every single time. Even if one player had to get 2 saves in a row, they found it. Were able to hold off this orange squad.
Immediately, the first thing I'm noticing for Oxygen compared to the way they played earlier is that Joreuz is making these fine little touches. Earlier on, he was missing those and putting them in trouble, but they're in trouble here. Apparently, Jack does get Gen.G Mobile back in the game.
And it's going to be through the midfield this time, not in front of the box. A quick pass from Chronic up to Abjack, who can dust that defender. Joreuz, the 3rd man, rotating back. That might be the kryptonite for Oxygen, at least in Game 1. Striking early, trying to set up something in front of the net. Not the best looks, but using that midfield, a quick 1-2 pass, and it's on target. A good strike back for Gen.G, who needed it.
Yeah, Gen.G, one of the smartest teams in the world, certainly in North America. Not someone who you can really confuse for too long. They will figure it out. They've got their master tactician, and apparently Jack, who's always calculating, figuring out ways to get around his opponents. So this huge start that Oxygen Esports have had won't phase them too much. But if the goals keep coming, then it doesn't matter if they're phased. They're not going to stand a chance.
Yeah, and it's going to be Oli again. A big chunk of this offense has been this man following up shots. This setup by Archie. Lovely work and very patient approach. I've seen Oxygen. They're given space. They know it. And because of it, they can hit the brakes, get a nice little first touch, and make use of whatever it is that Gen.G decide to give them. I think they're respecting them too much and anticipating a lot of big clears or big hits that aren't coming out.
Right now, I feel like Gen.G needs to speed up themselves. They're still trying to play their same style of gameplay. You know, the slow approach, the cautious approach, not chucking anything when it doesn't need to be chucked. But Oxygen are closing them down so quickly. Look, another dunk comes in. It might lead to another goal. Gen.G need to just avoid these dunks, first and foremost, because they are putting them on the back foot every time they try and come forward. and they also need to add a slightly more mixed-up approach of their own.
Right.
They need to surprise Oxygen, because Oxygen just look to have the full read of everything Gen.G are trying.
This is absolutely a different level when compared to their previous series, Gen.G up against Power. There were good looks on the side of Power, but from Oxygen and what we've seen so far, like I said, completely different level, very layered approach. And for Abject, he's the only player who's gotten a goal, the man leading the fall split in goals per game, and maybe gets one from Chronic. But more and more defense coming out of Oxygen Esports. It doesn't look like they've been put in panic situations, and Gen.G want to change that.
Well, officially we only have 2 saves from Oxygen, but I'm sure I've seen some more than that. It's probably because they're charging down so quickly into fence. And an attack, they are swarming Gen.G. Gen.G can't handle it.
They just don't let him out. Simply put, that's a good 50-50. Perfect bounce too. You're forcing a save. You're forcing players from Gen.G to fly across the net, and it is too much to handle.
It's looking like this first game is going to get away from Gen.G. Maybe it already was. As it started, it could be a stick. Oli's going for a dribble himself for solo play. And he looks so comfortable on this stage right now.
Yes, Oli has been the MVP for me when it comes to Oxygen. He's filling in the gaps and doing a great job at that. Archie has been the initiator, a person who's setting up a lot of these shots, taking his time. I mentioned that patient approach earlier. I think he's the one who's usually opted to go for this slow approach. And here's Jorius doing it again. Notice how they're keeping it to themselves. A slower dribble, but it's much more effective at not only wasting time here as they have the lead, but keeping possession on the other side.
And look again, look how high the Oxygen defending line is. But normally they're not being punished for it because they're getting the read on Gen.G. They're closing them down straight away. So Gen.G can't even begin to launch a solo play. There's a pass in the center if Archie wants it. Nolly's going to steam in from the side. Oli's coming in again. All these loose balls falling to Oxygen players. Everything going the way of the team in blue. Nothing happening for the North American team, which you claimed, pal. So
yeah, you know what? I'm still happy about it. Okay, I proudly claim Gen.G for North America, and I think they're going to bounce back. Game 1 could be a little bit of land jitters. We know that Chronic, this is a new environment for him. The first series win for them was against Power, but that's not enough, especially when you're up against an offense that is this layered and this calculated with their approach. Oxygen Esports do take game number 1, and they do it convincingly.
So convincingly. That was up there with the best we've seen Oxygen play in any single game.
Yes.
Certainly since the first of the full regionals, where they blitzed through a lot of different teams who didn't expect them to be quite as expansive as I think they are. You know, Oxygen are a team that they will have games where they look atrocious because they're so attacking, because they're so optimistic in their approach. When it works, though, they score goals like these.
And that's always been the issue for me when it comes to Oxygen, is that optimistic approach. Like, you anticipate something special out of your teammates, and 9 times out of 10, it feels like that doesn't happen, or that 50-50 doesn't go your way. So for Oxygen, the decision-making, knowing when to push up, when to expect a better 50-50 from your teammate is what they've had to fix, and they certainly have.
15 shots in total there from Oxygen, so a completely dominant performance in where the ball was on the pitch, as well as the actual number of goals scored as well. Gen.G are a team, though, that you can trust to improve a lot for Game 2.
Yeah, 100%. This is apparently Jack, okay? This guy, when you listen to any interviews, when you talk to him at all, you know he's composed, you know he's going to bounce back. He's got one of the best mentalities, in my opinion, in the scene. So Game 2 could go the complete opposite direction. We'll have to see what happens with Gen.G and what they can change moving forward.
I'm curious if we are going to see them try and go toe-to-toe with Oxygen, at least for a couple of minutes or so, just to remind Oxygen that they have to be a little bit more careful of what Gen.G can offer themselves, because Oxygen are a team that when they get away from you and the mechanics are working, this is not like getting a free jump. It was closed by Archie, but at least they're playing with some positivity.
Yeah, and it's forcing Oxygen to fall back, and look, it's creating mistakes. Jorius, bit of an awkward touch. This one does leak out of the midfield. Abject went for the bump, got some contact, but the shot was not on target. And they will take boost and keep this ball somewhat in their own possession, but Oli can break out.
Oh, that really hurts, though. When you manage to build up a chance for yourself to take the lead in a series in which you're struggling, you have to take it when the chance is that good. So that one is going to hurt Nolly. But they're going to carry on going, though. Nolly's going to send it out wide to apparently Jack. Is there anyone on the other side still? They have to continue to play on the front foot to Gen.G. Archie's missed that one, and that's made apparently Jack fake it as well. Now Archie up against Nolly. A good challenge from Archie. Joris gets a couple of touches. Only goes for the bump instead. Oh, he's approaching. Lovely little touch as well over the defense. Still attempting new ideas, Oxygen, even though they didn't quite manage to score from that one. Maybe that changes it. Joris comes in off the crossbar and it goes 1-0 Oxygen.
Talking about a new idea, look at this corner play from Oli. The first touch to himself, then lands perfectly on the sidewall to get the follow-up and outpace the defender. The recovery has to be flawless, and it simply was.
With the miss, it wasn't quite an open net, but it was a definite chance for Nolly.
Yeah.
Then to concede a goal like that, is that where tilt might just begin to set in for Gen.G?
I mean, I think so. Obviously, still a lot of respect given to Abjack and Nolly, who should be calming the nerves of Chronic, the LAN rookie. That's what it's going to come down to, in my opinion. They had some good chances, couple of good strikes. It's already been better than game one, but they're still trailing here, Cole.
Gen.G needs something, they need it soon, and it's not going to be right now because that touch towards Oli, who's getting all sorts of involved with every play, doubles Oxygen's lead.
Oli just does not stop, and neither does Jorius, the follow-up. The recovery from Oxygen Esports at every play has been spot on.
And Jory is getting in the way of his old teammate, apparently Jack as well.
Yes.
That will feel extra sweet to just completely do your old teammate for pace and for it to lead to a goal.
I just can't get over how quickly they can continue their rotations. Normally you'll see a player, get 150-50 and maybe take a boost, and that's asking a lot of that specific player. But what Oxygen can do and are doing in this series alone, they'll get one touch, then a quick follow-up into the midfield. It's a setup after they control the ball. And that's just from one player able to make that much damage on the defense.
Huge save again. Gen.G are at least putting some passes together though. Jory is going to be able to get it away at least for now, but Gen.G should be able to carry on going. They've got some decent boost numbers. Chronic's got a steal as well. Jory's clearance is as far as Nolly. Got a bit of distance to it, but Nolly then got the clean touch. But it's only as far as Oli, and that touch from apparently Jack is going to go absolutely nowhere. That's what Oxygen were waiting for. That was not quite going to go in, but again, all it takes is one touch, and they are cutting through Gen.G's defense.
Yeah.
Normally such a staple of their way of playing.
Just saw an absolute bullet fired from the ceiling from Oxygen Esports, hammering down on this net. Orange side, Gen.G, they're struggling to find themselves on the other side. One big clear is all they've got. Chronic, that one straight into the hands of Oxygen. Then there's demos on the field. Oli opens up some space, and Archie can follow it up. Oxygen Esports can't be stopped.
They do all the work ahead of time. It's the demo and the first touch from Jorius. After that, the goal itself can almost be in slow motion. You can see it happening. This elaborate ballet between the two teammates in the air. And the result's inevitable, Turtle. It's the ball in the top corner.
And at first, I didn't see who was demo. And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm trying to check who's off the field, I hope it's not Gen.G. And now I hope Gen.G has accuracy. Where is the shot placement?
Oh, the second open net's been missed by Gen.G. That is going to hurt them. A minute and 40 seconds left is long enough to get back into the game. But now the seconds are ticking, and now it could be Forrest. Good defending there. One touch away from Nolly. They have to do more than defend, though. They need something to go their way. They have to sink something, Gen.G, because it's starting to get to the point where the problems that are arising in this game are going to carry over. No matter how good your comms are and how good you are at shaking it off. 2 open net misses? That sticks. Nolly is going to send this one to the corner. They have to do something. Apparently Jack waits for Nolly. Lovely interplay from those two. Apparently Jack over the top of Oli, but again, Oxygen get away with it. Gen.G, they managed to keep the pressure on though, at least for now. Good lead there from Chronic, good patience from him. The composure at his first RLCS LAN. Just to wait that split second, an extra moment of time to maybe get Gen.G into it, but in the end, the attack comes to nothing.
Yeah, very flat. I'd like to see maybe that first man get more aggressive, stay on the backboard. You've seen a couple more demos from Gen.G. They are trying to throw somebody forward without creating too much risk for their own defense, but at this point, you're down 3 goals. Send the house. Somebody needs to make a play. And this ball, this 50-50, goes back into your corner. Oxygen wasting more and more time off the clock. At this point, it seems impossible. But we've seen the impossible in the RLCS, and it might start with Chronic.
It has to be right now if they stand any chance, and it's not going to be the case again. Not just a good save from Oxygen, but even now, when they should have all players against them, they're still conducting these great transitions and putting it away, and that definitely is it for game 2. Did Gen.G have to just take the positives from this one? You had some good chances.
Yeah, I think that's that's what it boils down to for Gen.G. Understand that you've gotten some good looks on net. It hasn't been perfect. The rotations have still slipped up. And oftentimes, when they should get aggressive, we don't see them fully commit. They're hesitant here on the pitch to transition. A lot of clears to open space, giving it right back to Oxygen. You can't say the same here for the blue squad. These players, these three, came to perform, and they certainly have. Gen.G, a lot of respect and reputation coming from North America, making it to every single grand finals in every regional event for this fall split, but falling a little bit short up against their biggest competition so far, Oxygen.
I mean, even when Oxygen have started today slowly, they are still averaging almost 4 goals a game today, so you're not going to be able to defend against them for 5 minutes no matter how hard you try. And when they're just linking together this well, the highlights package of Oxygen, even if they lose, is always great. But when they're winning as well and they're putting together the right rotations and the right decisions on top of these brilliant highlight moments, you're looking at a team that is going to sail through this swish, surely. Yeah, and speaking about Oxygen and what each player has done and what role they fill, for me, Archie has been the conductor for a lot of these plays. There he is.
And you can hear them chatting it up, smiling too. Good vibes here on Oxygen. And Oli, I am so surprised. I have been disrespecting this man. Not, you know, I haven't been saying anything bad about him.
I mean, he's quite tall.
I have not been talking about him at all. I need to mention his name more.
Yeah, true. Because he's just exactly where his team need him. He will put the ball away. You know, he is the one who's going to just shove it in the net if Joris and Archie are trying to be too clever. But Gen.G have had some time to talk things through. Remember, there is no tactical timeout at this stage of the competition.
Not right now.
Those come in the best of 7s. This is only a best of 5. And that does mean that apparently Jack and the rest of Gen.G are going to need a reverse sweep against their former teammate.
I mean, even look at the rotations in the first minute. I've seen Archie get a demo, then take the full boost pad. What do we get from Gen.G? A solo play from Chronic, but even more control from Archie. Good pace from Chronic. This could be a change-up, though, for Gen.G. Getting more aggressive. There goes the young man trying to make a difference. And he's setting up ab check, but still not enough, but good looks.
Yeah, Nolly did well not to get too close to the play there. It would have been tempting. He stayed just about far enough that he could put this one right back in the danger zone when Oxygen got half a clearance away. Now his redirect goes towards apparently Jack. Staying forward to the left, trying to get bumps. Trying to make something happen. I like it from Gen.G, but Oxygen more than survived. They've wriggled away and they've put the ball back onto the other half. There's a chance now for Oli. This could really hurt Gen.G, but Chronic gets the big save.
I'm seeing some concerning moments for Gen.G. Everybody has been prioritizing rotating back to net. I just saw Nolly opt to go towards his own net and try and get the save. Nobody wants to go out and find a challenge, and it's going to be really hard. There's no boost spawning anywhere. Good bounces for Jorius, and an even better pass. Archie can follow that up, and the first goal again for Oxygen.
Oxygen are in some sort of flow state right now. Every finish is perfect. And they're different sorts of finishes as well. You're getting ceiling plays, but the actual shots are just gentle. They're in the exact part of the goal that Gen.G can't defend against. This is the true peak performance right now from Oxygen.
I mean, with the opportunities that they're generating, the shots don't need to be crazy. We've seen a lot of solo play passes where one player will keep it to himself, get a nice follow-up off the backboard. We just saw Jorius set himself, or set his teammates up, excuse me. And then now Oli on a tear still. Oxygen have not slowed down.
Oli, who has tremendous 50-50s. His challenge game is up there with anyone, even before he reached this, like, apex of Rocket League alongside Archie and Jorius. He's always able to bundle the ball home, and it was what you were talking about. All the clever play was done by Jorius down the wing. It was the beautiful touch into the corner. He actually missed his redirect, but the pass, it was either a shot or a pass. Ended up being a pass, and it led to a goal.
But there's a lot of time in this game remaining. Gen.G looking for something. Nolly can't find a big clear, but keeps it to himself. Good 50-50 win from Archie. And it's going to be stuck in the corner. We're going to look to Chronic to try and bury this ball out.
He's at least trying something, Chronic, you know? The swirls in the air aren't quite working, but he's at least getting the ball to stick to him, giving his teammates some time to pick up some boost and go with it. Just needs it to actually happen. Need that ball to roll in. They haven't scored since game 1, which they lost 5-1. Maybe that changes now. Nolly with the double, but he takes it away from Chronic as well. Oh no! The series of their nightmares continues. Gen.G doing everything except putting that ball in the net.
More
Not to the right,
opportunities.
pass
There it
to
is.
him.
There it is.
Oh, it's closed down so well by Jurius as well. It's not just Gen.G missing. The defending from Oxygen is so frustrating for Gen.G. It's been excellent.
We see the setups. We see what they're going for. And there's no way that this was calculated. Archie was floating down from the ceiling. He had his flip, and Jurius found him mid-air.
No. That's an absolute stunner. The goal of the tournament so far, without doubt. That is an amazing piece of improvisation there from Oxygen Esports. They're already having fun with it. They know they've won. They're essentially metaphorically leaning back in their chairs already. Jurius is steaming in. Look at Archie, no one wants to rotate back. They all want to score. They're fighting for the ball.
Fighting over the ball. Who's going to pad the stats? Who gets the most goals in this series? It might not matter at the end of the day. The only thing we're paying attention to is Oxygen Esports as a whole dominating Gen.G.
Hands on head from apparently Jack. There's just no way to beat this opponent on this day in this moment. It's one of them.
Yeah.
And for us watching on, even if you're a Gen.G fan watching this, you have to just admire what we are seeing from Oxygen. When a team plays with such confidence and belief, they want to put on a show.
Yep.
And this is the most entertaining show we've seen so far.
And what's ridiculous here, Cole, wait, hold on, Archie. Okay, I saw the pre-jump.
Yeah,
I got the wind taken out of me a little bit, but what's crazy to me is that this Oxygen squad feels like they're playing, this feels like it's day 2 already. We literally just saw Oxygen Esports up against G2 earlier today. They didn't look, maybe 50% as good as what we're seeing right now. They were all right, had a couple of mistakes here and there, but now it's a completely different story. Oh man, it's too much. Can Gen.G, do they even have any time?
No.
You calling it early?
This has just been a I've been calling this one since the start of game 3 in my head. I'll say it publicly now. This has been a masterclass from Archie, Jurius, and Oli. This is a statement victory right here. You know, we're early on in the Swiss. It doesn't always translate to playoffs. We might come back in a couple of days, and Oxygen are disappointing, right? All of that can happen. But at this stage, Oxygen cannot do any more to suggest that they are a premium team in this competition.
Yes, absolutely. But you can't underrate Gen.G. They might have had a difficult showing here, but it's up against a peaking and ridiculous Oxygen Esports. Gen.G, the new roster, competing now for the first time at the RLCS international stage. Gonna have some time to recover, to adapt, maybe watch some replays and try and fix things moving forward, because Oxygen Esports had him read the whole time.
Unbelievable. Archie is just clinging onto the back wall, or he was earlier at least.
Is he going to stop playing like before, though? That's the question. Does he drop the controller?
Or would he? Maybe Jury as well against Jack. Now that would be a story. I mean, this one is only finishing now. We're reaching 0 seconds, but in truth, as Nolly can't quite sink that flip reset. It's been over for a very long time. That wasn't even a walk in the park. It was like, it's like they haven't even got out of bed. They're just chilling.
Yeah.
There's their dream.
We got out of the green room, Cole and I, and we're thinking, we got the banger series of the day. Game 5, almost guaranteed, nail biter, and Oxygen Esports come out and just absolutely style